As an executive assistant, you are the life GPS of your CEO, executive, or whoever you work with. You're supposed to know every single thing about their life. I know a lot of people do not talk about this, but as a new executive assistant, it can get very, very confusing. I know that because, I started out a long time ago and I know how I felt. And as a new EA, you're probably confused, wondering, where do I go from here? How do I start? But don't worry, I've got you. Today, I'm going to be giving you the new executive assistant checklist that has everything you need to know as a newbie executive assistant, and that's going to prepare you to be the boss behind the boss from day one. First things first, you have to know your boss like Google knows your search history. I'm being very serious. You have to know their work style. Are they a morning person or are they a don't talk to me before coffee kind of person? That is very important. And then you also have to know their communication preferences. Some people prefer text messages, others prefer WhatsApp messages, and some other people prefer emails, phone calls, and the rest. So you really have to understand their communication preferences. That will help you understand the best way to communicate to them, right? So you don't want to call somebody that prefers emails or email somebody that prefers text messages or WhatsApp messages. It's very important. It's going to help you really scale through. This is very basic, but a lot of people miss out on it. And I also made that mistake when I started. That's why I'm pointing this out so that you don't also make the same mistake. Very important. Nothing screams a newbie EA like getting confused when you're asked for something, for a document or anything like that. So to avoid this, you have to start by mastering the calendar of the executive that you're supporting. You have to know their meetings before they do, and you have to know it offhand. I remember my friend asking me one time if I even know things about my life the way I know about my boss, because while I'm walking on the road, wherever I am, I'm always calculating, okay, what's the next meeting, or what is the next thing they're supposed to do, what's the next thing on their schedule. And that is what really makes you a good EA, because your boss can call you up at any time and say, hey, what's next on my schedule? You don't start running to your calendar or running to whatever documents, wherever you have that saved, to start checking, right? So it's very important to learn all of those things offhand. I've experienced this a couple of times, and that is why I'm telling you that it is very, very important. Yes, I know you want to impress your boss, but a burned out EA is as good as a useless EA. Yes, I said that. And to resolve that, you have to learn to set boundaries early. Now, it is true that being an EA, you have to be available most of the times, right? However, you also want to set boundaries for late night calls and stuff like that. It's very important. So you have time to rest, you have time to do your personal stuff, and you don't get burned out, because that is going to be very bad for you, for your executive, and whoever you're working with or supporting. Also, you have to create an information hub, like a Google Drive that has documents and access to every other important thing that your CEO or the company is going to need. Securely stored, please. You have to also keep that in mind. And you can put together a resource list where you have the list, names, numbers of vendors and other necessary things that are required by the company or by your CEO or the executive that you work with. This is very, very important. And I've put together a resource list that I share with executive assistants. I'm going to make that available by the next video so that you can have access to it. So if you want it, leave a comment below and let me know. Now, you also have to know your key responsibilities, because supporting the CEO of a company and supporting the CFO are totally different things. They might have very basic similarities, but there is a difference. So it's very important for you to know your key responsibilities. And then you also have to understand the work culture of the company. So beyond knowing your CEOs or executives' work style, you also have to understand the work culture of the company. That way, it's easier for you to blend in. And if you do not know answers to questions, or if you don't know how to sort things out, please ask questions, and ask questions early. Trust me, I learned this the hard way. It is never a good thing to assume or guess what the solution to a problem is, or guess what you should do. it's very important to ask questions. And when you ask questions, take note of the answers to that questions or to the solutions that are provided to you, because they're going to come in handy in the future. And the final thing you need to know is that this job will stress you. It will test you, grow you, and stress you out. See, I've been an executive assistant for over 6 years now, so I know what I'm saying. But the best way to survive is to stay curious and keep growing, because a lot of, just like any other job, a lot of tools, systems, and every other thing is coming into play. You have to keep yourself up to date. Join communities like Boss Behind the Boss and other EA communities so that you can learn to grow with others, so that you can share challenges with others, and you can, excel on the job. Now, the last but very important hack that a lot of people miss out on is understanding that being an executive assistant is not a solo job. Because you work closely with the CEO does not mean that you are you are the CEO. No, trust me, it's not. You have to be friendly to people. You have to, relate with your colleagues. That IT guy, that finance guy, that person that you think you don't have any business with is going to save you one day. So introduce yourself to people in the company, know who handles what, and try to be as friendly as possible to people, to your colleagues in the company. Trust me, this is going to save you a lot more than you expect, because one day you're going to need that person's help, or one day you're going to urgently need something that you don't know how to get, and that person is going to help you. So it's very important. And there you have it, the new executive assistant checklist. Now, if you find this helpful, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can be informed of when a new video drops. Don't forget, you're not just an assistant, you're the boss behind the boss. See you next time. Bye.